Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would just like to take a moment, offer a moment of silence for the tragedy that's taken place over in Israel and Palestine. There's many innocent lives being killed over there, and I think we should just take a moment just to think about that for a second. Thank you very much. First item is an annual economic development presentation.
As council knows, we in 2014 we started a economic development plan here in Horsham, and part of that plan was to create and hire the Director of Economic and Community Development, which we did with Larry Burns. So Larry, since then, since he's been with us, has been giving you an annual presentation on the economic development in Horsham Township, and he's here tonight to give you the 2023 report.
Good evening. Pleased to be back. As I put this together, it just reminded me how much is going on right now. We do so much with so little, and it's, again, everything that you're going to see tonight, you've seen before. It's come past council, and I just want to thank you for your leadership for where we are today. Next slide. So again, that talks a little bit about the history of how we started focusing on economic development. Could you turn my mic down just a little? So again, in 2014, we undertook the plan. 2016, we approved it. We hired me in June of 2016. We adopted new zoning for the office park in 2017, finalized branding strategy in 2018. And every day we're out there encouraging and initiating various municipal and private investments in our business park. Again, why economic development? It's up there, fosters economic growth, quality of life, things that really are important to our community, encourage, stimulate, and promote economic development, a catalyst for economic growth, and attract targeted companies here to Horsham Township for jobs and investment. You can't talk about economic development without touching on the base. Again, the timeline remains uncertain, but we work it every day trying to push the Navy, and someday it will be under development. Again, I'll remind you, we've had a couple parcels transfer from the base. We have the Howell Elementary School is based on a former property the Army owned, and the township was successful in getting the transfer of the Southeast Clear Zone in 2021. In 2018, we underwent branding. We had a group come in from Tennessee, did a great job of listening to our citizens, listening to our leadership, listening to businesses, and really came up with a really nice package for us which gave us a branding purpose, talked about clearly compelling brand for Horsham Township that defines who we are and what we want to be. Next, we came up with a new logo, a brand story, newsletter format. It's really developed into a lot of different facets of how we present ourselves. Next. If you remember Horsham Township, really part of the fifth largest economy in the world in the greater Philadelphia metropolitan area. We've got great access to airports. We've got great access to arterial roads and access to the turnpike. Why Horsham? Again, amazingly business-friendly township, among the lowest real estate taxes in the region, no business privilege tax or mercantile tax, per square footage rental rates that are highly competitive. We have great 5 major business parks, and someday, as we note, the Will Grove base will come online. And again, excellent highway infrastructure and access to the turnpike. We're close to 3 regional rail lines. We have an affluent and highly educated and attractive area where there's 2.2 million people within 15 miles of us. That 50% of them have bachelor's degrees. Again, highly educated and affluent group. We have great access to the region's colleges and universities. And again, a lot of great restaurants and local places for us to visit and attract. A couple years back, just before COVID, we put together the business attraction brochure. We have what we call the storybook, and then there's the the short story book. Again, all the things that we love about Horsham Township, our great access. We can be at the shore in an hour and 15 minutes. We can be in the Poconos in the same time. Over the last couple of years, we've been doing some regional advertising. The Philadelphia Business Journal, the Mid-Atlantic Real Estate Journal. We've also done some digital advertising in New York City and North Jersey. We've done some national advertising. Again, we think it's critical to build the name of Horsham Township before the base becomes the base. That people are going to know us as a business-friendly community. So we have been in Site Selector magazine last month, as a matter of fact, Business Expansion Journal, and Business Facilities Quarterly. Bill and I are interacting with our business community every day. We do State of Horsham event annually. We do brokers' breakfast. Again, just engage the business community and let people know we're here and what we're about. Site Selector, we've talked about talking with a site selector. We're doing some research right now. These are professionals that consult big companies like General Motors, and you can go down the list on locations. Anybody that would want to be anybody that would want a regional headquarters in the Northeast, we really should be on that map, and we want to try to figure out how to be there. We're supporting our business parks with new transportation alternatives. Supporting the new business association as well. Again, really trying to strengthen the Horsham business community as a body. We celebrated our 4th annual Horsham Restaurant Week, and again, trying to elevate the name of Horsham with the foodies. That we're a place to go to eat. Challenges as it relates to looking at just base numbers. Sometimes it's challenging because accurate data is really hard because of the number of post offices we have. But that being said, next page. This gives you just a snapshot. In 2022, our population, our median family income compared to Montgomery County in Pennsylvania, owner occupied right there, it's just shy of 70%. Our median home values have really moved, and again, twice of what they are in PA. You look at some of the new housing that's going up that we all know about, and it's certainly driving that value. Again, it talks about educational, 92% with high school diplomas, 48.6% with bachelor's degree. Very low unemployment rate here in Horsham Township. Just some select demographics. I found it interesting. Last time we looked at this, and it was 2020 numbers, people looked at the 65 and over and said, oh, we're starting to really age out, and we were. I don't know if we've had some go to Florida. I don't know if we had more younger people move in, but it's changed a little bit, and our median age has dropped to about 38.1 years. We had some new businesses over the last year, and that doesn't include all of them. They're the ones I could remember in a pinch. But again, we just think that some of the activity here in Horsham, 16 miles from Center City, Philadelphia, and out in the suburbs where good schools, it's a little bit safer to be, raise a family, have a quality of life, and we're pleased to have these folks join our township. Commercial development's underway. You guys know about the Keith Valley. It was across your desk. The new commercial development, the Center for Diagnostic Discovery over at NMS Labs, just a $12 million expansion by NMS Labs and a group called Shear out of Boston, creating a discovery zone. And I think Horsham is really well situated for pharma and bioengineering manufacturing. And we'll see in the future if that's true. You're aware of 1001 West County Line Road, the Petrucci development. Janssen Pharmaceuticals, their expansion of their corporate center. Eurofins, right down the street, is reimagining and renovating 795 Horsham Road. Workspace Property Trust is improving 507 Prudential. They have an ambulatory care group that's going into that property. Pete's Car Wash, which you're well aware of, is taking the place and certainly broke ground and seeing all kinds of stuff move there. County Line Vet will be breaking ground soon and building their new facility on County Line Road. The former Joseph's Catering property down the street, again, I'm anxious to see that develop as well. And this is just a little piece I put together. I think we have a thriving life sciences ecosystem here. If you look at all those names, they're all here in Horsham. And aside from that, we're well situated between Discovery Lab, Springhouse Innovation Zone, Pennsylvania Biotech, and our own Center for Discovery. Again, you look at the talent in this area, I think we could easily be a center for biomanufacturing. Residential activity, you guys well know of this as well. 105 units sold in 2022 up at Toll, and year-to-date, they're at about 99 units. You got Hallmark Builders just sold out. That's a great project. Big lot singles. You've got Mark Salomon's Rose Lane. It's 4 beautiful custom homes. You've got Pulte's Liberty Ridge, which is under construction. I drive through that every day, take a peek, and, really, I'm curious to see when it's done in that corridor road for us as well. You got the Sansoni Meeting House redevelopment right on Meeting House Road. And coming soon, the Cormans and their AF product out on Drescher. We're looking forward to seeing that. In addition to that, the township, as you know, has made some significant infrastructure improvements. Again, help transportation, help businesses and their employees get to work. We've got Blair Mill Road widening Phase 2 with utility relocation occurring now and construction next year. We've got Horsham and Limekiln Pike with utility relocation expected in 2024 with construction in 2025. We've got the Westmoreland Avenue intersection improvement project with bids due back on October 13th, and we're excited to get that underway. We've got the Pennsylvania Lifestyle Campus Streetlight project, and that's signed, sealed, delivered, and should be coming along in the next couple weeks, as a matter of fact. We've got Blair Mill Road widening project Phase 3 engineering underway, so that 2-3 years down the road, we'll be able to do that last leg of improvements at Blair Mill and Easton Road. We've got preliminary engineering plan for the planned replacement of the bridge right down the street from here, so that we can widen Horsham Road from Babylon up to the Limekiln Pike intersection. In addition, the Route 611 Future Vision Study is underway, looking at the challenges and the aspirations of what we can do with Route 611 ahead of the base redevelopment. And just closing thoughts, this is part of the branding, and as a crossroads for wide open opportunities that attract new business, economic development, and commerce, Horsham is ideally situated for companies seeking easy access, connectivity, and the perfect environment for growth. I'll leave you with that thought. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I'll just add to, what Larry has said. Back in 2014, when council took the initiative for economic development in town, some might have questioned us. Why are you doing this? The office parks were 92% occupied. No one has a crystal ball. But what we did know at that time was our office parks are aging. The new people, the new employees that are coming to these towns, the new CEOs of these companies, they don't come to 1970, 1980 office parks. And with that discussion, council then made the decision to move forward with an economic development strategy and plan. Again, some people might have said, if you're 92% occupied, why are you doing this? Could you imagine with what we've experienced since 2014 if we didn't do it? I don't know of any other community that invests with their general budget, with a full-time position dedicated to protecting and having a vision for economic development than Horsham Township. And with the pandemic that hit us, our office parks were hit. It has hit our revenue. Horsham Township is a community that its livelihood is based upon the 5 office parks. I don't say 5 industrial parks, 5 office parks. Companies with living wage jobs. And they took a hit. They took a hit and still are taking a hit. But thank God, for our town and the future of our town, that we have what we have in economic development, because we could be in really, really much more bad shape than what we are today, and everyone's feeling it. It's the work from home. It's the companies that have downsized their footprint. It's the companies in this economic times. We're not doing anything right now. But without a strategy, without a plan, without ourselves marketing ourselves, I could see us in our office parks in a lot worse position than what we are. And I do think very strongly that when things start to rebound, and my prediction is probably another 2 or 3 years, the office park end of things in our country and in this region, we're going to be one of the best. We're going to be situated as one of the best locations to come to. So it's going to be a challenging few years for things to figure themselves out that we don't control. But everything that we've done with the infrastructure improvements, with marketing ourselves, advertising ourselves, we will be in very good shape. Larry's done a great job, and I feel very comfortable. It's just getting to that rebound year a few years from now. So, I think we made, and council made the right decisions back in 2014.
Yeah, I would agree, Bill, that, doesn't seem that long ago, right? That we discussed this and decided to move forward. And it just, we're kind of reaping the rewards of it now. We're seeing everything you just mentioned for the past 9 years. It's phenomenal, even through the downturns. So I'm happy that we made that decision. I'm happy that you pushed us to get it done. And Larry, you've done a great job. You were the right person at the right time for the job. And you've really done a bang-up job with it, and you continue to do it, and we see the results. And I just say, let's keep on going. We have a bright future ahead of us, but we can't take our foot off the pedal because there's a lot of competition out there.
A huge amount.
Yeah, and we can't afford to sit back and say, hey, we did a great job, let's take a break. It doesn't work that way. So keep up the good work, and great presentation. It's really good to see everything that we've accomplished over the last 9 years. Taking on this, and new businesses coming in, and restaurants. I mean, it's been, even the small businesses. It's been fantastic for us, and again, I think we just got to keep pushing forward, keep doing the hard work.
Aside from everything that you presented, I appreciate all your work. I also appreciate the way you've been connecting local organizations to businesses in the community. I think as we move away from parents, companies sponsoring the youth sports, your ability to connect the sports organizations to businesses has been, I think, very instrumental, and I really appreciate all the work you've been doing in the community.
Great, thanks.
And I'll just say thank you again.
Great, thank you. Have a good night.
And we'll see you soon. Take care, bud.
And take a short recess.
12 minutes to kill. Anybody know what the score is?
I thought Larry was going to talk more, but you did.
All right, so it's 8-2, good. All right, so we'll just take a short break. We'll be back at 8 o'clock and do 8 o'clock meeting. Okey-dokey, we're going to start the 8 o'clock agenda meeting. First item on the agenda is to recognize the 60th anniversary, the establishment of the Parish of St. Catherine of Siena Church. Bill?
I think most of us are all familiar with St. Catherine of Siena Church in Horsham, and they, on Whitmer Road, they are celebrating their 60th anniversary on the establishment of the parish, but they have a long history here in Horsham, and many of us who've grown up here in Horsham remember the small little church at Avenue E and Horsham Road. It's now a stone parking lot for overflow parking at the Element Shopping Center. But that little church, I think the last business in that church was Archer Printing Company or a printing company. But that was the first St. Catherine's where they started off back. If I remember your history correctly, they even though when the Archdiocese and the Cardinal established the parish in 1963, they had been meeting, the Catholics in Horsham had been meeting in that small church along Horsham Road since the 1930s. And the priest from Warrington, I think it's St. Joseph's, would come over and say Mass and for the Horsham Catholics. And it wasn't until, 30 years later, 36 years later, that, they bought, the Archdiocese bought property along Whitmer Road, and St. Catherine started to establish themselves as a parish along Whitmer Road. But as we all know, St. Catherine's is more than just the Catholic Church in Horsham. They have a lot of outreach ministries. They have a lot of outreach community events. One of their new events that just happened a week or two ago was Trucktoberfest. And that's a new event that they started, I think, maybe 2 years ago, and has become really popular in the community. And it's not for their parish, it's for the community. And we also know that they graciously host the St. Catherine or St. Vincent de Paul food pantry. That is a separate from St. Catherine's itself, but they host it, and it's become a ministry of St. Catherine's. And as you know, we have two events a year, each year, that we raise money for and donate money back to St. Vincent de Paul. And you hear from the folks at St. Vincent de Paul on an annual basis, and they're up to 80 to 100 families that they help each week. So that's a huge ministry of St. Catherine's, but also a huge benefit to our community and the families and people that need that food and help that St. Vincent de Paul provides. So I'll be quiet now. But Father Rimdeka is here with Miss Regina Osborne, and the two of them are representing St. Catherine's this evening.
I'd like to, we do have a proclamation to read for you, then I'll invite you up to maybe say a few words. So on June 4th, 1963, that Archbishop John Kroll formally decreed the establishment of the parish of St. Catherine of Siena and appointed as founding pastor the Reverend Joseph P. Keeney. In 1964, a 17-acre tract of land was purchased off Drescher Road from C. Howard and Esther Thomas. And in July of that same year, the rectory was established in a home that dates to 1781. On March 7th, 1965, groundbreaking ceremonies were held for the church and the school, and the first Mass was finally celebrated in the new church on Sunday, July 3rd, 1966. The convent for the Sisters of Mercy was completed the following August, and the parish school opened its doors for the first time on September 7th, 1966, with Senior Agnes Loretta, RSM, as founding principal. Current Reverend Joseph F. Rimdike was appointed sixth pastor on June 26, 2008. Father Rimdike presided over the extensive renovation of the church building and the grounds, which was completed on December 13, 2008, when Cardinal Justin Regali rededicated the new building. The St. Catherine of Siena family are valued members of the Horsham Township community, and we are fortunate for their positive impact in our township. We are honored to recognize and congratulate them on their 60th anniversary and wish them many, many more. Congratulations.
Thank the township and the council, but it has provided and built a wonderful setting for us in which we can operate our ministry. And so we are, speaking in the name of everybody in the parish, we are very grateful for the help you have given us in keeping us in this township and keeping the township as it is. And so it is a setting for our ministry at St. Catherine's, for our Knights of Columbus, and as Bill said, for our St. Vincent de Paul Society, and for the ministry that they perform in caring for and providing for the poor. And so I'm grateful for all the work you do and have done, and in the future will do for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you come up here and we'll present this to you and take a picture?
There.
Join your crowd.
Well, wait.
Rick's ready.
Except for.
That's good. Right there. Good.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Many more years.
Thank
you very much. All right, next, we're having a conditional use hearing. Start right now. Council now calls to order a hearing on the conditional use application filed by Strategic Asset Holdings Incorporated to allow a sanitary sewer line to serve a parcel of land at 1025 Limekiln Pike. The lateral will cross a portion of the property located at 1027 Limekiln Pike. The applicant is seeking a conditional use pursuant to the zoning ordinance to permit construction of a sanitary sewer lateral that will cross through the Riparian Corridor Conservation District, which traverses both properties. A notice of tonight's hearing on the application was published as required by law, and it would be appropriate at this point for Mr. Gadea Walker to enter into the records those documents relating to the filing of the application and the public notice of the application itself.
All right, Exhibit T1 is the conditional use application. Exhibit T2 is the conditional use plan. Exhibit T-3 is resolution number 2023-24, establishing a time and place for a public hearing. Exhibit T-4 is the letter to the Horsham Planning Commission. Exhibit T-5 is a letter to all the surrounding property owners regarding the hearing. Exhibit T-6 is the legal notice. Exhibit T-7 is the full set of plans to include the riparian management plan. T-8 is a letter from the VW Consultants LLC regarding the wetland evaluation findings. Exhibit T-9 is a letter from the Horsham Water and Sewer Authority providing tentative approval for the connection of this property to their system. Exhibit T-10 is the review letter from the Horsham Water and Sewer Authority engineer. Exhibit T-11 is the review letter from the township engineer. Exhibit T-12 is the review letter from the township landscape architect. Exhibit T-13 is the review letter from the Montgomery County Planning Commission. Exhibit T-14 is the review letter from the township land planner. Exhibit T-15 is the conditional use plan review response letter from Charles Shoemaker. Exhibit T-16 is the Horsham Township Planning Commission meeting minutes when they reviewed the application. And T-17 is the second review letter from the township engineer.
Okay, thank you, Bill. So if any person present this evening would like party status in this matter, it is necessary to let us know that now. Party status can be granted if you live close enough to the property to be aggrieved by the use proposed. Persons with party status may cross-examine the applicant's witnesses and may present witnesses of their own. Only a party may appeal the decision of council in this matter. If you do request party status, you will still have if you do not request party status, you will still have the opportunity to express your opinion and tell council whether you would like to see the application granted or denied. So is there anyone present who would like party status? Hey. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind those of you here tonight that this evening is being transcribed by a court reporter. Therefore, it is necessary that you not speak unless recognized by counsel. If you do speak, please give your name and address prior to making any comments so that the record attributes your remarks properly. I do note that the applicant is present this evening, represented by counsel. Would the applicant like to present the case?
You have to turn on your mic, Kristen, down the bottom. What's the green light? There you go.
I'm Krista Stefkovic, and I represent the applicant, Strategic Asset Holdings, Inc., and I'm here on behalf of Ernest Stefkovic, the principal of the company, and he's also my dad, seeking approval of the conditional use application. The applicant owns the property at 1027 Limecombe Pike, which only had a private sewer, and would like to connect to the public sewer. And the best way to do that is to construct a sanitary sewer service connection under the property and through the neighboring property at 1027 Limecombe. The area where the sewer is to be constructed is within the riparian corridor, which requires this conditional use under the township code. The applicant obtained an easement covering the area with the owner of 1027 Limecombe and therefore has standing to pursue this conditional use application. I'd like to mark the recorded easement as Exhibit A1. I have Gary Tilford here with me, who has been a professional land surveyor since 1984 and prepared the plans for this sewer hookup. I'll provide a summary of what Gary would testify, but first, can we swear Gary in case there are any questions?
State and spell your full name, please.
Gary Tilford, T-I-L-F-O-R-D.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
And for the record, Tilford has appeared before council on numerous occasions, and council has accepted his testimony as expert testimony in the field of civil engineering.
Mr. Tilford was engaged in February 2023 to investigate potential connection to the sewer system. He researched HWSA facilities in the vicinity of 1025 Limecombe Pike and sketched potential routes for a sewer lateral connection to the existing sanitary interceptor. The existing on-site sewer system is in the rear yard behind the existing dwelling. Gary determined that the most efficient route to connect to the sewer main was out the rear of the property and across a portion of the neighboring property, 1027 Limecombe Pike. The applicant requested permission to cross the lands of the neighbor, Mr. Choi, with a sanitary sewer lateral within an easement, which was accepted. Shoemaker, where Gary is employed at, proceeded with site surveys to locate existing features along the route and measure elevations of the ground and existing sanitary manholes. Shoemaker proceeded with preparing a topographic site plan, map soils, and FEMA floodplain floodway, and determined the boundaries of the Horsham Township riparian corridor conservation easement. Soils classified as Doylestown silt loam are hydric and potentially suited for wetland characteristics. The applicant engaged VW Consultants, Inc. to investigate if wetlands were present, and their analysis determined no wetlands were present in the area of the proposed lateral construction. Shoemaker's prepared a sanitary lateral plan and profile plan and submitted the plan and Act 537 sewage facilities planning postcard to the Horsham Water and Sewer Authority. The Horsham Water and Sewer Authority determined capacity was available and provided the postcard to the Horsham Township manager. The conditional use application was then submitted to Horsham Township on or about August 23rd, 2023. Plan review has been provided by the Horsham Water and Sewer Authority engineer, Horsham Township engineer, Horsham Township landscape architect, and Montgomery County Planning Commission. Revised plans and details to address engineering and landscape issues were resubmitted on October 2nd, 2023, consisting of 4 plan sheets: sanitary lateral plan and profile, riparian management plan, erosion control plan, and construction details. The Horsham Planning Commission reviewed the conditional use application on October 3rd, 2023, recommending approval subject to satisfaction of all review recommendations. The application was presented to the Montgomery County Soil Conservation District on October 4th, 2023. The applicant intends to comply with any other review letters that it has received or will receive. Gary, is there anything I said that was inaccurate?
It was accurate, thank you.
Are there any additions you would like to add?
No, not at this time.
Okay, so do you affirm and adopt that testimony as your own?
Yes.
Great, that is all.
Have any questions up here? Pretty simple. So we're going to close this hearing now, and council will render a decision at a meeting within 45 days of tonight's hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. All right, next we have an opportunity for questions or comments from anyone in the public. Being none, do we have approval of minutes?
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next is the treasurer's report. Bill?
The balance in the general fund as of October 31st, 2023 is $5,712,875.04. For the most part, the expenses and revenues in all funds reflect normal activity for October. As of the end of the month, we have earned 100% of budgeted revenue and have expended 71.33% of the budgeted expenses. The effects of the pandemic and cost of inflation continue to affect our budget, especially in regards to revenue from the earned income tax and local services tax. We are monitoring it closely, and I do expect we will have challenges in managing these economic headwinds. For a more detailed presentation of our current financial position, I would refer you to your monthly booklet.
Hey, do we have a motion for checks?
Move to approve the list of checks in all funds in the amount of $529,425.44, and further move to authorize payment of the same. I move to ratify the U.S. Bank credit card transactions for the month of September 2023 in the amount of $7,675.84.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next is a subdivision plan for Limekiln Pike, 929.
This minor subdivision plan is for just to divide it into two lots. The existing home will remain on one. There's no construction plan currently for the second lot. You did review this at your last council meeting. The Planning Commission has recommended preliminary final approval. We do have, it is ready for your consideration this evening for preliminary final consideration.
No questions, do we have a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution proposed granting preliminary and final subdivision approval for James Oliveros, 929 Limekiln Pike, 20-04-S. I'm sorry, I apologize, 23-4-S.
That's been moved and seconded, is the roll call vote?
Mr. Charger, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Harmon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
And Mr. McCouch, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is reviewing a waiver of land development for the English Village.
And their team is here this evening with their engineer. This is for the Addison English Village. They're looking to replace an existing pool shed, walkway, some landscaping and deck, which they'll go over with you this evening, and they're requesting a waiver of land development.
If you could throw up the first sheet of the architectural plans.
Is that the color version, the
Yes.
renderings? And you want to also start by introducing yourself.
Okay. Wayne Kiefer with Showalter and Associates. With me is representative of the property owner.
I'm Gabriel Lachlan from Ion Construction. I'm the president of the construction company.
Generally, as described, we're looking to improve the existing clubhouse, pool area, and pool house. We have met with staff several months ago, submitted plans. We're asking for a waiver of the land development process, not any waivers of design requirements, only the process. The property is approximately 40 acres. We're adding 973 square feet of impervious. In the center of the site, none of the work is within 200 feet of a property line. We have 2 review letters from the township engineer and landscape architect. We will comply with all the comments in those letters. We are providing a rain garden to manage stormwater from the small increase in impervious. It flows through the site before reaching Lower State Road. It doesn't reach any adjoining properties. Happy to answer any questions or deal with specific comments.
Sounds pretty simple. Bill, do you have any comments?
No, and staff doesn't have any, except for will comply, and they address the stormwater. As you know, the Addison, formerly called the English Village Apartments, is one of the older apartment complexes in town, built back in the 1970s, I believe. So any improvements are good for the property and for the tenants.
Wonderful.
The current owner has only owned the property for approximately 2 years and is trying to improve the site.
Yeah, we got we didn't always, we have visited the property about once a month, and it's the biggest ask from the tenants is improvements in the pool area. They want a kind of an area where they can greet and have get-togethers in the afternoons. So we like to accommodate their needs if at all possible.
Next step.
Next meeting, pass a resolution with the conditions of will comply, and then they can get moving with the building permit.
Okay, next meeting. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it.
Go Phils.
It's almost over. Let's see, next is a resolution authorizing an application to pay Commonwealth Financing Authority.
As our staff always does, always looks to, rather than just take money from the general fund and not say we're going to get this grant, but we have okayed it was this year for a new fire marshal vehicle, and I don't think it's not going to happen this year, but Matt Reinhardt, our fire marshal, is looking for a grant to cover the cost rather than our general fund to cover the cost. So this is a grant application for that.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution as proposed authorizing application to the Commonwealth Financing Authority Local Share Assessment Grant Program for the purpose of an emergency vehicle and emergency management equipment.
Second.
Moved and seconded, is a roll call vote?
Mr. Chaudry, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Harmon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
And Mr. McCouch, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, next is, we have two appointments that we need to consider. Do you have anything on that?
Just both people that were on the boards that it was a time commitment issue for them with their jobs, their family, their homes, and they felt it would be better if they stepped aside to allow someone else to take their seats that could be more active on the boards.
We've gotten resumes in.
Yes.
I move to appoint Antonio Garci to the Park and Recreation Board for a term ending on December 31st, 2025, and to appoint John Edgar to the Environmental Advisory Board for a term ending on December 31st, 2023.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything else on my paper, so we're going to adjourn this meeting. Good night, everyone.